All right, all yours, Brian.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good night. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brian from Teamwork Unlocked, and we'll walk you through what we have for you today, and then I'll pass to Tom for the second half. So we believe that corporate training is boring. If you know me or know anything about me, you'll know that I'm highly allergic to things that are boring. And so what we've decided to do is use our enthusiasm for things that are more creative and more fun and find a way to make training a lot more exciting. So if you go to the next slide, I'll introduce us. So I'm Brian, co-founder and CEO of the team. I worked at Google for about 9 years and left in December last year. One of the main things I did at Google was a lot of projects around culture. So I built the world's largest board game cafe inside the Google office. And in 2024, I built an escape room along with a friend that we'll talk about more in a little bit. When I decided to resign, Scott Beaumont, who was the president of Google at the time, sent me an email and said, "Wow, what are you doing next? If it has anything to do with escape rooms or board games, let me know because I want to invest." And I wasn't planning on doing anything at the time, but I thought about it, made up a business plan, talked to Tom. He was also excited. And so then we decided to go ahead and build a company around a really cool idea. Tom has a good background in finance, as well as doing a lot of app development on his own, and also has experience with startups. And Scott is our lead investor. So on to the next slide. In Google, sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather today. At Google, we built this escape room. And in 6 months' time, we had over 800 people go through it across 150 different teams. With a 97% 5-star rating. So it's not just your typical escape room. We also use it for team development. And going forward, we're going to turn this concept into a number of escape rooms that are purely B2B and really focus on management development and leadership development in half-day workshops, but using an escape room as its core for immersive learning. The market for training is huge in APAC. Last year it was $35 billion. In Singapore alone, which is where we're starting the company and where we're going to build our first rooms, there's over 7,000 MNCs that are either headquartered here or have their regional teams based here. So there is a large target market that we can easily access. And the longer term plan would be to scale this out further across the Asia Pacific region and then maybe even further beyond that. So what have we done so far? We've already secured a lease right across the street from the Google office in Singapore, actually. We have 3,400 square feet, and we're currently under construction now, opening in July, August with our first escape room out of 3. We have our architects lined up. We have a product supplier that we're working with to co-design the rooms. We design them backwards to forward. So we think of the business solution that we want to train about first, and then we design the room so that it matches those solutions throughout our facilitation. We've also benchmarked our pricing that we have, which is $10,000 per session. That's for a half-day session. That makes sense in Singapore when we're comparing it along to a lot of other companies that are trying to do similar kinds of trainings. And now I'm going to pass it over to Tom. Thank you again. Whether you decide to invest with us or if you just want to support us by helping spread the word, we really appreciate it. Tom?
Thanks, Brian. So, right, like Brian said, I'm Tom. I'm the co-founder. I'm the CTO and CFO. So let me talk to you about CTO and CFO stuff. In particular, let's talk about the future. So this year, obviously, we're opening the company, and that's super important. But to me, one of the most important things is we're going to learn a whole lot of stuff once we open our doors. And that information, in particular, information about demand, is going to fuel our thinking about how to grow. And at the moment, with fairly optimistic, I think, assumptions, we're thinking of growth as a 2-pronged strategy. First of all, we're opening rooms 2 and 3 next year. And then afterwards, we're doing some app development that I'll talk about in a moment. 2027 is going to be a year of more international expansion, likely first year in Asia, and maybe Dubai, Europe. But it all really depends on how demand shapes. Now, I mentioned an app. So, I mean, we're a leadership training doing escape rooms. Where does an app come into play? We want to have a highly digitized experience. So we're rolling out an app this year that would be a companion to the training. We essentially want to replace any kind of pen and paper experience that you would have in a traditional training with QR codes, mini surveys, and all sorts of nice summaries displayed to all users at once. Just makes for a much smoother experience. It would also include a form of post-training component, which could have reflection exercises, readings, tasks to complete. How this is going to land and whatever our learnings are going to be from that will guide us in creating the B2C app next year. So it's a little bit hard to say what it's going to exactly look like, but we're pretty sure we can create something interesting for people who haven't went through our physical training. So now let's talk a little bit about the risks. What keeps us up at night, and I suppose this is true for any startup, is the demand. And it's very hard to gauge for us in this type of business, but we are having already about 10 live conversations with different customers, the likes of Meta, Google, Microsoft, Spotify, Amazon, and many more. So we're pretty confident we can land some of those before we open our doors around August, September. But why am I talking about demand in particular is because there's one aspect to it. We're very highly sensitive to the amount of customers we have because we're quite highly priced. And so in our type of business, 2 customers a month gives us break even. So that's like, let me repeat this because it's like kind of crazy. Two customers, just 2, gives us a break even. 4 allows us to start hiring employees. 6 to 8 can probably allow us to open the second and third room sooner. 10 to 12 would mean we could start international expansion sooner. So, and that's again, customers per month. So it's all about unlocking all of that demand. And our GTM strategies to do this are multiple. We're of course working through our personal networks, which is thousands of people across Singapore, across all sorts of MNCs. We're tapping into the likes of programs like HoPass in corporates. We're doing a lot of LinkedIn outreach. And we're starting various referral programs for HRs and executive assistants. You can see lots of logos over there on the slide. I think all of those can be our customers because at the end of the day, any company might require leadership training. We obviously expect that our first customers would be from the tech industry or FMCG, but who knows? We might actually start getting a whole lot of law firms, as one of my friends told me. So we'll really learn more about it later this year. Now, in terms of the investment, we're raising $300,000 at a valuation of $3 million. I'm happy to say that we're at the tail end of this with only 3 tickets left at a minimum ticket size of 10K. But of course, if we get more interest here, especially from Xooglers, like we're open to a few more tickets beyond the 3 that are left. So if you want to invest or you're just interested in booking a session with us, then reach out to us via email displayed right now, or reach out on LinkedIn. And we'll hope you'll be a part of our journey. And thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Brian and Tom. I think we'll now open the floor to any questions. So anyone can just raise their hand regarding any part of the pitch or anything that wasn't addressed in the pitch as well. So just for clarification, once again, we'll be listing this online as well. So maybe if nobody has any questions, I'll give it some time. Then maybe I'll ask some questions that people online might be interested to find out more as well. Yes, Gregory, please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I wanted to understand if, as you begin testing, are you thinking of extending beyond the escape room experience in terms of unlocking team building and other experiences, either through the app or any other extension?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So the core flagship experience is a 4-hour workshop. Since we have office space already, one of the other things we're going to do is partner with other people who are doing guest speaking, motivational speaking, other types of workshops. So if someone wants to book a full day offsite in our site, that's possible as well. So we can extend the program into 8 hours, and then working with the partners, we'll have a shared revenue model. Beyond that, once we land the flagship, we're working on ideas on how to make a more portable solution, something that we could easily take outside of Singapore to do, like, let's say at an offsite in Bangkok for a much larger team of like 100 people. So smaller puzzles or games. Also, with the experience that I've had running the board game cafe at Google, we are going to have a small add-on that is doing like board gaming workshops. I've run literally hundreds of those in Google Singapore before. So that's something that's already part of my personal brand. And we've already had some requests from companies to run sessions like that for them. So yes, there will be some other options besides just the core flagship of the 4-hour escape room.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Gregory. If we can have any more questions from the floor as well. Okay, if that is all the questions we have, I think a generalized question would kind of be, how's the current competitive landscape of the teamwork building industry, and like where do you see yourself in playing in this field? Is there anyone else doing it? Yeah.
I'm happy to take that one as well, Tom. That's okay. So we've spoken with a lot of people in the industry, and the interesting thing that we're finding is, number one, there's tons of room available. There's tons of options available. Every conversation we've had has had people very, very excited, especially because our experience is very immersive, very hands-on. It's something you experience that's not a classroom, right? You're doing learning in an escape room, which is a wacko and bizarre idea that people haven't had. But once they hear it, they absolutely love it, and it resonates that they think it's going to work. So we've had a lot of people just say, let us know when you're open, because we're going to be very excited to come sign up. Also, in this space, we found competitors are more like your partners. So there's a lot of people who run programs that have already worked with a customer, and they can't really run their program with them again, but those customers are asking for help and support. So they're happy to do referrals into our program. We'll be able to do the same. There's also consultant types and coach types who have long-term relationships with their customers and are looking for a one-day experience to do something special and different. We're very flexible in that we're able to partner, and we're building partnerships with those companies right now so that we can work together on joint sessions and deliver this kind of immersive training for customers.
I'd say it's also kind of interesting to think about just very direct competition. There's not that much of that, right? Like there's not that much experiential learning with kind of like fun components. There's, let's say, theaters will do that with actors who kind of help build some leadership skills. Former military often does that. But in terms of doing something with like a physical space, and in particular an escape room, I think through our extensive research, we found just one player, and that was somewhere in, I want to say, was it Denver? Somewhere in Colorado, I think.
Yeah,
that was
in Colorado.
Kind of no one else does this.
And even that company, they are a B2C escape room,
right,
that likes to talk about B2B. We will be, as far as our research shows, the only B2B exclusive escape room globally at this time.
Okay, thank you so much for your answers, Tom and Brian. If we have no more questions, then I think I will send Tom and Brian, if you can send your LinkedIn in the chat as well for people to follow up on this discussion with you, that'll be great as well. And then with that being said, I think we can move on to our next pitch. Yep, thank you so much, Tom and Brian. So next up, we will have George Portillo from SushiData.
Hello, everyone. Give me one moment here. Can you see my screen? Everybody okay? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm George. Nice to meet you. I'm an ex-Googler. I was at Google for about 7 years. I was part of the marketing team for Google Cloud. I'm a UX engineer. I built the current cloud.google.com homepage. I also built their contact sales chatbot, which I integrated with sales and support and into Salesforce. So yeah, I'm very passionate about UX and UI, and that's why I decided to quit Google and build SushiData,
We are AI data monitoring for marketing teams. So if you're in marketing, you definitely want to pay attention to this. Really, an analogy is that we help find a value in oceans of data. This is what our enterprise customers are saying about us. There are tools like Meltwater that are for PR listening that people are using for marketing purposes, and it's not doing it. Meltwater is a PR listening tool, not a marketing tool. So Aptos is using SushiData to help craft better content. Xoogler is looking at SushiData to tap into Blue Sky and Threads using our API. And I think it's really interesting for companies to make that step into unstructured data. I think the world is waking up in regards to unstructured data and how useful it could be for their business. And Cloudflare is our first paying customer. They're using the platform every day. My team, starting from the right, Sokai Trong, he's also an ex-Googler. He was mentored by Milton Glasser. Milton Glasser is the person who created the I Love New York logo that we have all seen before. He's one of the best designers I've ever worked with. Really proud of Ty. Victor Elise, he's our CTO. He is a cybersecurity expert. We're very lucky at our early stage to have a cybersecurity CTO, because everything that we built thus far is SOC 2 aligned, and SOC 2 compliance is just around the corner for us. Victor Sanchez and I, we've known each other more than 10 years. We've done startups before. We actually grew a Facebook page from 0 to 4 million fans that we ended up selling to a company down in LA for almost 6 figures. And we have founder fit in understanding community, growing community, managing community. We know how hard it is to do it. So that's why we built SushiData. Really, the problem is that your business will die if you have poor customer operations. You scare off 94% of your current potential buyers because of negative reviews. You churn 41% of your customers annually because of bad service, and it takes 5 times more resources to acquire new customers than to retain the ones that you already have. This is a real scenario. This is a user looking to switch from Google to Cloudflare. They're spending $20,000 a month, and they're looking for pricing. But surprisingly, what happens to messages like these is that it just gets lost in the noise. In this case, it's Discord, and then it falls through the cracks. So what happens to those messages? They just get ignored, right? So what we do is our solution is to turn cost into revenue, because marketing and contact and customer success are cost centers. We believe that we can turn that by being proactive with data. We alert marketing teams of issues. We alert customer success teams of leads, and we help them prepare the data, understand the data, craft campaign content, fix problems, and help them attain 25 to 95% more for the more money for their business. Really, what we do is we help surface insights. We help unify all the data that you might have on Discord, on Telegram, on Slack, on Discourse, on Twitter. It doesn't matter. Just send it to SushiData, connect it using the accounts that you already have using OAuth, and you're good to go in seconds. And we help you grasp insights with generative UI, which I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. This is very new. We're working with Cloudflare. Cloudflare is our first paying customer. 2 pilots for Google, one for the Web3 arm led by Richard Windman. He's the head of strategy at Web3. And another one for Google Cloud with Ryan Glover. He's an old colleague of mine. I used to work in the same team, so full circle there. IBM, Crypto.com, Xoogler, Aptos, all of which are using SushiData at the moment. This is our bottom-top approach of this massive opportunity in unstructured data, but I don't want to bore you with that. Really, I want to tell you that we just need 500 companies to reach $15 million in ARR. We charge $2,500 a month for our tool, which we call Omakase for the enterprise. And each team has $500 of search-based pricing so that they can go and search all they want, and then they can replenish those tokens. That way, that doesn't fall on us on SushiData. Our go-to-market strategy is working. We're creating these reports that are like highly beautiful. We show those reports to people. They're like, wow, how did you get this stuff? How did you get like this visualization of my data? And they're like, I want to sign up for this. So they sign up, and then they check it out. They connect their sources, and then they get going. It's really, SushiData is a very sticky tool. And lastly, functional English. I'm really passionate about this. We created a way to craft complex commands using our search. That means that you'll be able to conduct a search on something, then create a report for it, maybe send it to somebody, all with just typing it out. And eventually there won't be slashes here anymore. There will be just English that the AI will highlight, and it will be like, okay, well, I'm going to do this in a sequence. And I'll show you guys what that looks like right now. We are a generative unstructured analytics knowledge graph. We're not a PR tool. We're not a Kanban board. We're not into PR listening only. Like I said, we're unstructured data analytics. We have automatic AI categorization. We have generative UI, which is really hard. There are users already using some of these tools that are looking at using SushiData because it's just specifically for marketing. We're raising $1 million in saves. We already raised $170,000. We have $600,000 sub-circled. I'm actually at a VC office to see what's going on and see if we can get some investment today. Happy to show the product. I'll just kind of just quickly flash it. This is the way that it looks. This is the platform. It's built. This is the way that I analyzed 102 Reddit posts. I literally just used the tool for that. This is all the feedback that's coming in. We do 5-dimensional sentiment analysis. We do auto categorization for each message. These are auto categories. I didn't come up with any of this myself. The AI did, meaning that like the moment you come into SushiData, you don't gotta do nothing. You just like connect the sources, let the AI figure out what the data is about, and then now you're visualizing it. You're visualizing it. You have many ways of visualizing that data. Different ways of like trying to understand that data. We go above and beyond for these visualizations, right? Which will eventually add into our search results. This is a way for you to view pretty much everything that is coming in through the door. And we help you narrow down by sentiment, by the categories that it's created, where it came from, what insights you want to filter by. And we just kind of let you do that in very, very simple steps. And lastly, this is search. What you're about to see is generative UI. The first command that I said here is give me a report on what people think of Gemini and give me samples and user quotes, please. And as you can see, the AI is determining what to do. It's first creating the search metadata. It's creating the insight types that it needs to look under and the keywords. It's also doing sentiment analysis based on my query. It pulled messages that are relevant to my query because, when you ask something to ChatGPT, where are the faces? We put the faces in the ChatGPT response because it's our intelligent data space system. We also have topics, which we use for helping people understand how many times a specific thing came up, such as merge Google and Gemini. I don't know what that means, but people have mentioned it. And second, help me gather data on Gemini. This is not working because it's experimental, but the purpose is that you're going to say, I want to gather data, and I want to find it on Reddit or YouTube. It doesn't matter. And the AI, you just ask for it, and the generative UI will present that to you, and you don't need to look for anything else ever anymore, right? When it comes to marketing stuff. Eventually, I think that the world will evolve. I think that generative UI will come to the world. I think that when you go to the DMV, you won't fumble through the website anymore. You kind of just ask, like, I want to pay my bill, and the generative UI will just show it to you. So that's the future I'm envisioning. That's the future we're building at SushiData. It's a data-centric future, but that's what we built. Happy to answer any questions.
Yep. If anyone has any questions, you can just raise your hand. If not, I have a question for you, George. So currently, what kind of data are you exactly looking at? Will you currently, is it only text? Are you looking to eventually look at audio, video as well? What formats does the product look at now?
Great question, Benny. We're starting with text first because that's the easiest thing that we can get to. There's so much text out there, but as you know, unstructured data comes in various formats: audio, video, right? You have YouTube videos talking about Gemini, right? Like, how do we create a pipeline that is able to hook into that and extract all that video data and then annotate it, send it to SushiData, and then now I'm like, leveraging it and like surfacing it inside of a search. That's definitely part of our plan. We definitely built the infrastructure for that. So we're very excited about that future, but ultimately we want to become an unstructured data refinement platform, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you feed into it. It's data you're feeding it. It's your proprietary data. It's your data space. Now you can put that to work in other areas if you want to.
Yeah, definitely. So in the future, there is plans to extend to other formats, correct? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So do we have any more questions? If anyone has any, I think about the ticket size. So are you currently raising for
Yeah, we're raising right now.
well? What does that look like? Minimum ticket size?
Yeah,
I don't-
minimum ticket size is 10,000. We're looking at angels at the moment. We are trying to fill another $300,000. So if you are interested in marketing and unstructured data and AI, let's chat. I think this is a huge opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, with that being said, I think we can move on to our next startup as well, being mindful of the time for everyone as well. So the next up, we have Julia from Tingz. Julia, you can go ahead and begin. Yeah.
Thank you, Benny, and hi, everybody. So hi, I'm Julia. I'm the CEO of Tingz. Can you see my screen? Now it's there. Perfect. So we are the AI gaming platform that turns prompts into game. We are the mid-journey of gaming. So what we saw is that that there are a lot of gamers who want to create their favorite game, the game of their dreams, and but they don't have the time or the coding skills to create that. On the other hand, we interviewed more than 50 consumer brands and we asked them, why are you not in gaming? Like, what is holding you back? And they told us creating games is very expensive, it's very slow, and they don't have the resources to do it. So that's why we created Tingz. We want to make game creation fast, fun, and open to everyone. So our technology is that we have our bespoke AI models and we let the LLM and the game engine speak to each other. And the game engine we are currently using is Unity. So we plug it in and that's how we create this gaming worlds. This way we can create games 90% cheaper and faster. This means our solution is really easy to use. It's a no-code solution. You can even see at the moment there is this big vibe coding trend. So yeah, we are also vibe coding. We don't want to call it like that, but it's like that. And it's because, you know, this can really help the user to focus on what is most important, which is like fun and exciting gameplay. All of that is fueled by a marketplace. So we have this creator economy as a base of it. So users can create assets, they can trade assets, they can sell assets. So what we are targeting is not only the gaming market, but we are actually targeting the digital advertising market of 700 billion. So who are we? You already got to know me. So I'm a Xoogler. I worked more than 5 years at Google and previously more than 5 years in Adidas. And what I did there is I was working with all of these Fortune 500 brands and I was helping them with the digital transformation. So I have a very strong branding background. And I was managing portfolios of more than 100 million a year, heading up like all of these EMEA Fortune 500 portfolios. And my co-founder, Christina, which is the CMO, she's a strong marketing leader. She was previously the head of marketing for a British luxury brand. And we just onboarded actually our third founder, which is Andreas. He just exited an AI startup. And he previously also had a gaming startup for 5 years. And he raised more than 80 million already in investments. So he's the perfect addition to the team. At the moment, we have around 4 developers in our team who are a mix of AI developers and game developers. So where are we at? So we started building everything like around 3 months ago. We're at MVP stage. And the video that you can see on the page is just our first game. So we are infrastructure, but we just want to release our first game to show the capabilities of our gaming engine. So you can see here, this is the game that our engine created. It's in Unity, it's a battleground. And yeah, so it's really, really cool and fascinating. So we want the community to engage with us, to, you know, get crazy about the prompting, to break it, to, yeah, really like try out our product. In terms of traction, we have more than 100K deal flow after 3 months. Last week, we won a 50K. It's our first pitch competition. We won it with a 50K in prizes. And the most exciting part, we already signed more than 15 games with either Fortune 500 or Web3 brands. The biggest name here is we just closed a deal with Estée Lauder, which committed that they want to roll out Tingz across all of the brands. And yeah, based on my personal network and so on, we're in advanced conversation with a lot more brands, and we have 50 more in the pipeline. Okay, let's go to the business model. So the business model is based on all the Gen AI models, so like Midjourney and so on. It's a subscription-based model. So for the user side, for the B2C side, we have first a freemium account. So everybody can try it out, dip their toes and then get a certain amount of prompts for free. And once the prompts are running out, they can top up and get paid. And then once we have a critical mass, we will switch to like a monthly subscription model between 10 and 30 US dollars. For the enterprises, we are targeting around a 50K US dollar yearly, so they can create the games like really, it's really accessible for them to create games and it's like gaming engagement. So when we look at the go-to-market strategy, we are first starting with this brand partnerships. This will be our first wave of users, which we then will retain the data and retarget them to then go into the individual adoption. So that's where we have the freemium account where they can co-create games. We will have like competition leaderboards and so on, to at the end create like a whole social platform where the users and the brands can meet each other and spend the time gaming. For our roadmap, so we are currently raising our seed round. We are at MVP stand. We have our first traction. We are projecting 300K revenue this year. Next year, we want to scale to our first million and then raise our series level A in around 18 months. So that's where we at. So we are currently seeking 1.5 million via SAFE to finalize our AI modeling, and then of course to get our next wave of brands and get our first beta testers for our product. Thank you a lot for your attention. Let me know what questions you have.
Hi, yes. If anyone has any questions, they can ask them now. If not, I'll just ask a general question again. Yeah, Julia, so it's a great product. I just wanted to understand a little bit more about from a consumer and the 50 prompts, how exactly will that look like? Because, coming from like a no-code background, even with vibe coding or coding with AI, you still do need to have a background knowledge of what exactly you're doing. So from if you could provide like a product demo or something to better showcase how it looks like from a consumer point of view, I think that'll be good.
Cool. I'm super happy to show the product demo tomorrow, because actually we just joined a hackathon. So our developers are working 24/7 today. So I can send us a follow-up tomorrow, our demo video, because we will have something cool to show. So our whole idea is to have basically, everybody should be able to use it. So it's like Midjourney, that's our goal. So we are building this client interface where you just prompt what you want to do. So you can literally write like, I want a tree and please place a dragon. And what we will do to make it easier for the user, we will already provide all of this like 3D assets so they can place it and they can use it and so on. And then of course we will train the AI for like game mechanics and so on to build these worlds. So yeah, there will be a few frameworks in place to make it easier for them to build it.
Okay, that's great. So does anyone else have any questions regarding this? Okay, another question regarding sorry, because I myself, I game a lot, so this is a few that perhaps I'm a little bit more familiar with.
Yeah.
But from even from a business point of view, so how does the deployment of the game look like? Where do they exactly run it? Do you handle the deployment for them? How does that look like? Yeah.
So it won't be like locally deployed. It will be like a web browser kind of game. We want to create our own platform where they can where it will be hosted basically for them. The same for the brands. At the moment, you asked for the user perspective. Now, for the user perspective, it will be like a gaming platform where it will be deployed. And then we will have like all of these leaderboards and so on. And then we have a lot of social sharing in place. So we will also have like multiplayer functionalities and so on. So you can invite your friends into the game.
One last question. For the long-term vision of where you will take the startup, will it be looking more towards B2C or B2B?
Yeah, so I think that's a really exciting question. And I think the answer is we will see a little bit where the market will go. So traction we are seeing on the B2B side, I was actually not expecting it because gaming for brands is a big topic. But basically signing already all of these big brands, I think is a really strong signal in the market. So we will continue on that. Just this week, we launched our first community campaign, and our Twitter went from 0 to like 2,000 people in 1 week. And our first post got like, I think more than 500 likes. So I think I will see where the biggest traction is, because there are also possibilities of a third revenue stream, which is also working with indie game dev studios to see if they want to use our AI to make the development cycles shorter. But definitely there is a lot of demand in the market, and we will see which of the revenue streams will be the most successful. But our projections are based on a very conservative mid-journey customer acquisition. So we took 30% of the numbers, and there most of the revenue would come from B2C.
Okay, that's great. To wrap it up, maybe could you once again go through how much you're raising, what's the minimum ticket size, as well as the valuation for the investors in the call?
Perfect. So we are raising 1.5 million for our seed round. Our valuation is at 13.5 million. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Julia. Finally, last but not least, we have Joaquin with International Space Alliance. Joaquin, you can take over.
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Great. So the International Space Alliance is a nonprofit organization. It is part of Google for Nonprofits. And what we're doing is that we're building the next Silicon Valley ecosystem specifically for space and frontier technologies. I'm part of the co-founding team. I recently joined around 3-4 months ago. The nonprofit has been operating since 2021, but I recently joined to give the nonprofit as well another arm that is more about accelerating startups in space and AI tech as well. I did that in Google for the last 4 years. I recently left Google around 3 months ago. And the last 4 years at Google, I basically led like product innovation team within GBO, specifically in the go-to-market organization. So the challenge that really got me excited to join the nonprofit organization that you can donate if you want is that if you go back to the 2000s, this model already happened and already existed, and it's happening again. And the model is where Stanford, along with other Sun Hill Road, like venture capital, combined together with Xerox Labs. So kind of research, academia, and venture capital came together to propulse and to boost the internet revolution and the internet boost back in 2000. And companies like Google were an amazing example of that. But at the moment, we now face the same challenge where we see a space and frontier tech hugely increasing the relevance of, but there's no system in place that specifically catalyze these different type of industries. So the next leap in human progress, we want it to be anchored in Silicon Valley, as it has been before, not in Houston or in Florida or outside of the US. We want to make sure that we are keeping that innovation wheel within space and frontier tech in Silicon Valley. And we see that this is a very important and an opportunity that is happening now because the infrastructure is already coming, right? So the International Space Alliance is here to build the ecosystem. For the ones that don't know, this on my background is a real picture of the Berkeley Space Center. Well, a rendering of the Berkeley Space Center. And the Berkeley Space Center is a huge infrastructure of more than 1.4 million square feet that is happening in the back of Google Mountain View in the NASA Ames Research Park. So NASA, in collaboration with Berkeley, so in this case, instead of Stanford and Xerox Labs, is NASA as a government organization and Berkeley as an academia, they're joining forces together to build this amazing park between now and 2030. It's already approved, it's already in the making, and you're gonna see it very close to the dome that you see on the 101. It's gonna be right there on the foothill of that dome, this amazing new research park, right? And what they're doing is they're looking for organizations like us to help build the ecosystem, because that ecosystem is missing, to activate the talent, to activate the community, to activate the capital and the real world experimentation within that research park, which is going to be the biggest research park for space innovation in the US for sure, and very likely in the world as well. So the International Space Alliance, our nonprofit, is helping to build, since 2022, the connective tissue for community building for NASA. I'm gonna go deeper in a minute, and now we're doing it specifically for other areas so we can become that ecosystem builders of the Berkeley Space Center. So what we're doing is we have three main pillars, right? Flagship events, our recently launched Lunar Labs Accelerator, and also another corporate and research innovation strategy, which is Solar Studios, okay? I'll go quickly in each one of them. So flagship event is something that we have done since 2021 when the nonprofit started. We have been proudly serving for 3 years in a row flagship events. The biggest hackathon in the world, sponsored by NASA, is called the NASA Space Apps Hackathon. We have been the leaders or the organizers for Northern California for 3 years in a row, 2022, 2023, and 2024. And this year, we're going to do the same, even in a bigger spectrum, okay? These flagship events are helping us get traction with other corporate organizations. For example, we are organizing in the Google Visitor Experience Center in Mountain View, co-sponsored by Google and in collaboration with Google. This new event is going to be on Friday 29th. It's going to be 3 or 4 hours. We're going to bring together amazing space talent. One of our board of directors, which is Andrew Aldrin. Andrew Aldrin is the son of Buzz Aldrin, which is the second man to put a foot on the moon. And he's part of our board, and he's going to be there, for example, as a keynote speaker. And in that event, we're going to bring talent together, we're going to bring the community together, and we're going to solve a challenge. And those challenges that we solved that day or that we outlined that day are going to be also submitted in the Space Apps Hackathon in October that is happening and that we're organizing again for Northern California. So these events are bringing us those talent and those community of people together. For example, the founding cohort of accelerators in Lunar Labs, one of them is launching a microsatellite to the moon in October in a SpaceX rocket. They raised $5 million already. They paid $800,000 to get into SpaceX, and they're going to launch a few very cool things in October. Another startup that is part of the accelerator is called AstroShield. They're trying to remove space debris. I didn't know, but there are more than 100 million parts, less than 1 centimeter of size, orbiting in space, that is going to be very dangerous in the next 5-10 years when we have more than 100,000 satellites in space orbiting Earth, right? So this is some of the type of startup that we want to accelerate, and to accelerate those, we're very much focused on product market fit. Okay, that's the only thing we do. We don't take any equity for them. We basically provide, because of sponsors, because of people like you, if you want to donate, we give them non-diluted equity cash awards, 50K, 100K, so they can focus on finding that product market fit. And all of this is a flywheel. So the flagship events bring us people to the accelerator. The accelerator brings us people to Solar Studios, which is a research lab and also our corporate strategy. So if you want to test and experiment this, we'll bring them into actually corporate companies that can help us do that. For example, there's a company in the accelerator that is going to join one of our sponsors, Archer Aviation. Archer Aviation, they're in San Jose. They're building the first, along with United, the first taxi travel in New York City. They're going to launch it soon, and they're part of a sponsored corporate company, along with Microsoft. Microsoft is also part of our sponsors, which is for them, we're building community, for example, for an amazing set of workshop that they have with OpenAI, right? So this is the solution that we're building. We have proven records from building good events and innovation for years. One of our co-founders is Martina, which is one of the first analog astronauts from Europe. She's also joining. We have, as an advisor, the new CFO of NASA, Greg Autry. And we have very, very cool people, really very interesting people that wants to continue to, sometimes after they retire, like Andrew Aldrin, or even in their core role, like Joe Minafra, the CTO of NASA Ames Research Park. They just want to help kind of accelerate the space innovation. So what you can do is, if you want to join the mission, if you want to donate, you can go to our website, is esa-space.com. Let me show you here. So if you go to our website, as I mentioned, we're part of Google for Nonprofits. You can easily click here in donate, and that's the thing you can do. You can also get more information from our website, our partners and collaborators, some launching videos that we have from the Lunar Labs and Solar Studios. And here we have one of our recently board members that joined, Joy Minafra, lead innovation for NASA for years. Okay, I don't know if anyone has any questions. Please let me know.
Yep. If anyone has any questions, maybe I'll ask a few general questions as well. So thank you, Joaquin, for the presentation.
Sure.
Yeah, how are you exactly currently funded today, and how will the financial sustainability look like with your current funding channels?
So the main funding channels today is the flagship events and corporate sponsorship. The flagship events help us bring stable cash that helps keep kind of the lights running. Mainly the accelerator, which is the one that really takes more energy and effort to run. Okay, flagship events, for example, like a month ago, we did a huge event in San Francisco in the GitHub headquarters, sponsored by Rudley, Y Combinator, Anderson Horowitz, and also Google Cloud. Okay, we put in the same room more than 200 founders from Y Combinator and all of these great VC funds, and that was one of the key events, right? The co-sponsor event with Google on August 29th is also paid by Google, and we also have 3 more events. So with Google now, we have a pipeline of 4 events. It's going to be August, October, January, and March, where we're going to be activating that community space in Mountain View, in just beside the Google store in Mountain View. Now we also have a quarterly workshops, quarterly events, and we also bring people and we also activate the community. This is a sponsorship with Microsoft and OpenAI. They're launching new free workshops that they want to have, and they want people to use those tools. So we are activating that community building as well. So we see that the stable funding come from these corporate companies for these specific targeted events, but I see that it's a real need. And for example, for Microsoft, we have a long-lasting contract for like once a quarter. They'll pay us to do this. And at least for Google, at least for now, we have almost a year already of this also quarterly events that we want to do for them. And the other side is corporate innovation, like on Solar Studios, companies like Archer Aviation that I mentioned, or another of our sponsors is Elastic, the company Elasticsearch. They're also sponsoring because they want to put, they want to have always a foot in the door of space tech, frontier tech companies that they want to, be on the look, and a little bit of a startup scouting for them as well to keep themselves up to date with technology. So these are the main 2 channels that we are getting funded.
Okay, thank you for that. One final question before we end this session for today. So for the angel investors in in the chat as well as those online, how will it look like for them to be able to get access to some of these startups and the incubator programs to get equity as well? So currently, I understand that it's mostly a donation basis, and as you said, the incubator does not take equity from these startups. So I understand that there is a level of startup scouting that someone might want to put money into to get access to these startups. So how would that look like?
Oh, it's really we're very fluid with the accelerator. Right now, we have six to seven very cool projects. I call them projects right now because they're either pre-seed or seed. That could be even a startup already, but they're more in space industry. These are more research projects at the beginning. For example, there's a Harvard doctor, like a medical doctor from Harvard, that she's in the accelerator. She's building, or he's advancing research on hibernation for dual use, for space and also for Earth, right? So the accelerator just launched recently, 3 months ago. So I see that, for example, like people that wants to specifically either donate, right, directly to ESA, or I can put them in contact very easily directly with the founders. And if they want to donate and get like investment equity from them, happy to do that. Okay, we want all of these startups to succeed. We only focus on product market fit with them. So the rest, we just keep connections on networking opportunities. So happy to connect the startups with anyone on the chat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joaquin. With that being said, I think we can come to the end. So this will also be uploaded onto our Xoogler YouTube upon Chris' approval, and we'll try to send this to as many channels that we can. So do look out in your own emails for any potential follow-ups on this event. Yeah, but thank you so much everyone for joining us today. With that, we'll conclude today's event. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Bye.
take care. Bye.